All right, welcome back to Golf 215. I'm Anthony. He is Joe. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you, sir?
Doing good. With the start of the NFL season, we've got a special episode for tonight. I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah. So with us tonight, we have a very special guest. He is an All-American running back from EKU, Eastern Kentucky University. He is the league record holder in career points. He's the all-time leading rusher for EKU. He's a member of the EKU Hall of Fame, also currently a college football Hall of Fame nominee.
Mhm.
He played for our Philadelphia Eagles. He played in NFL Europe and for the Canadian Football League. And currently, he is the host of Pro Fan Talk, Markus Thomas. Markus, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man. Always a good time to get on the mic and talk with some folks, especially talking about golf, man. Swinging them clubs.
Yeah, man. I
I'm
think
excited.
we'll talk some golf. We'll talk some football with the birds coming up. We
Sure.
talk about your podcast, obviously, and honestly, wherever else the conversation takes us.
Yeah, man. It's been a busy day. It's been waiting for the Eagles, their final 53. I do a lot of WNBA coverage and content. So the WNBA is going on. Kaden Clark just released her logo with Nike.
I
So
saw
that's
that. It's
blowing
sharp.
up. What else? What else happened? All the stuff going on with Dallas. Um,
There's
yeah,
some
it's
there's
been
some other
a busy
football
day.
adjacent news today.
Absolutely. And then of course, within the last hour, friggin'
Yep.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce
Yep.
just announced they were engaged. So it's been kind of crazy, man.
It's been a day.
It's been a day.
Well, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time.
Absolutely.
Anthony, I'll let you just kind of jump right in. I know you were queuing some stuff up.
Sure. Marcus, really appreciate you coming on. I guess before we get rolling here, the podcast doesn't happen without my dad.
Yeah,
He can't go anywhere without running into somebody that he recognizes or knows. So thanks, Dad. Really appreciate you setting this up. But
yeah. Keep just talking to strangers when you're out and about. We love
There
it.
you go. There you
yeah,
go.
offering those bottles of water out to everybody. But Marcus, if you wouldn't mind, like maybe a little bit of background on yourself, and then on where you're at with the golf game right now.
A little bit about myself. Born and raised in Cincinnati. So I always tell people I bleed green because I played for the Eagles, but I was born and raised in the jungle. So, I grew up with some of those great Bengals teams. Most people these days never thought that you could say that, but we did have when I was growing up in Cincinnati, we went to the Super Bowl twice. Both times we lost to damn Joe Montana.
Oof.
So I was there during the Icky Woods and the Icky Shuffle and all of that kind of stuff. Played baseball in high school. Fun fact, I knew personally and played against King Griffey Jr.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Um, but just the overall athlete, me and my twin sister. My twin sister was never into golf, but I know literally there was a golf range across the street from my high school. So golf and bowling was a class that we had in high school. And we'd hop on the bus and we'd go to the golf range in less than 5 minutes. And that was the class. So I was used to hitting balls and doing all that kind of stuff. Didn't really play when I was in college, although looking back on it now, I should have because there are some beautiful golf courses in Richmond, Kentucky, and in Lexington, Kentucky. But I really didn't get into golf till I got with the Eagles because that's what all the guys did on their day off. On Tuesdays, NFL day off. One of the first guys that I connected with when I made the Eagles was William Thomas, Willie T. Willie T is an avid golfer. So when me and him started hanging out, he was always at the driving range. So I would meet him up there. The clubs, when you talked about getting the clubs, if we're talking about the same person, I think Willie T bought clubs from the guy you were talking about, Tony. So
Go get my neighbor who was the club fitter.
yeah, yeah. So I just know he made, if I'm not mistaken, like he made this big ass Kevlar driver, something like that. But long story short, started hanging out with William. At the time, I was living in South Jersey. I was living at Ramblewood. So my apartment was there. Willie T was living in Deptford. So T would come over. He would be at my apartment at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And at that time, Ramblewood would let all of the Eagles play for free. So we'd be over at Ramblewood at like 6:37 in the morning, teeing off. We would play 18 holes, but we would always, if you ever played Ramblewood, they got red, white, blue tees. So my apartment was almost at the ninth hole on the blues. So we would tee off on the blues, and as we were teeing off, I would call dominoes. We finished the hole. We would take the golf carts to my apartment because it was like right there off the ninth hole. We'd chill at the apartment. Pizza would come. We were playing Madden on the Sega Genesis. Finish the pizza. Now, mind you, at this time, it was probably like maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Go out and play 18 more. We were doing that like 2 or 3 times a week. So we always laugh, man. Every time I talk with him, it's like, man, those were the good old days. No kids, no marriage. You had all the free time in the world. And, man, we played a lot of golf. He was getting good. He was like, Willie T was hitting like, he was shooting in the mid to upper 70s. Like upper 70s, low 80s. I was shooting mid to high 80s and low 90s consistently. So you just kind of caught the bug, man. It just started from there.
That's how it happens to all of us.
Yeah. You get that one good shot, and then they got you.
Yeah. It's funny because I think one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about too was that transition that a lot of professional athletes seem to make, or not even just professional athletes, but a lot of athletes make that transition into golf from other sports. Yeah. And it seems to be a great carryover, right? So like you have all of your weekend warriors who are out there, putting together whatever they can, but like it just seems like there's a disproportionate number of high-level athletes that are just also tremendous golfers.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you, dipping your toe in kind of a little bit newer and right in the mix with, a bunch of professional athletes that are out there that may have been playing the game for a while?
Man, the first time we did it, it was a Eagles function. And it was we were at Pennsauken. And it was like an Eagles thing. So it was a bunch of us out there. And like I said, I had swung in high school, so golf I wasn't shy about it, right? Borrowed somebody's clubs. I was good to go. But we get up there for the first tee, and if you've ever been to Pennsauken, they got that big ass deck right where the first tee is. And I'm like, oh, this is different. We got about 100 people on the deck watching us tee off. So now, the pressure's on because, of course, they want to see the Eagles hit the ball a country mile, all of that type of stuff. But luckily, I hit a low burner, came off the club about 3 feet off the ground, but it went about 225. So I was, it came out good, man. But just getting out there, and then you could always find a couple of guys on Tuesday that were going to go play somewhere. So whether is at Pennsauken, whether it was going somewhere in Philly, just different places, man. And after that, got me a set of clubs, got me a set of drivers. I went the cheap route because I didn't play often. And then of course, when I started playing more and more with Willie T, I ended up buying me a better set. And just stuck with it, man. And as time goes on, life gets in the way and you don't get a chance to go out and play as much as you used to. But I would still go to functions, alumni functions, all that type of stuff. So still had a chance to play every now and then. And the reason why I got back into it recently, I got invited to play in a tournament with Gary Cobb. He was looking for former players to play. I was like, hey, count me in. Went up there. And it was me, Gary Cobb, and a couple other former players. My guy, Dom. Dom used to play with the Rams. And I can't forget who the other guy was with. But like I said, all it takes is one shot off the tee. You catch that one shot, and everybody was like, oh, good shot. And then, of course, I'm like, you know what? I want to go to the range again because I really don't have time to go out and play 18 all the time or at all, really. But luckily, there's a driving range less than 10 minutes from the house. So I started doing that once or twice a week just to get out and swing it, man. And I've been doing that faithfully like for the last like 2-3 months.
Marcus, when you were playing back then, who was like the stick? Who was the eagle, or who would you play with that was like the top? Everyone was chasing them.
Um, like I said, Willie T was really good. Um, I think Roger Ruzick was pretty good. He was our kicker at the time.
Right.
And I'm trying to think any. I don't remember honestly. I really didn't play with too many other people other than Willie T.
Okay.
Most of the people I ended up, meeting like were people weren't with the Eagles. It's just people that we met in different tournaments and stuff like that. So Vi used to come out and play all the time. Vi Sikahema. I used to always laugh at Vi because he would always play barefoot. He Polynesian, so they can rock it like that. I'm putting shoes on. But yeah, it was various people, man. So for me personally, I would probably say Willie T. Willie T was the best player I was around.
You guys play any money games back then?
I didn't.
No.
I didn't. I was like, I'm lucky in that regard that I wasn't a gambling guy. Still not. Um, my thing was I'm keeping my money in my pocket, dude. I learned that lesson early in my college career. I was like, some of my guys from high school that I played college ball with, they were in the, playing poker and playing tonk and all that kind of stuff for money. I played one time and lost $40 in like 40 seconds. I was like, oh, hell to the no. This is clearly this is a sign from God. This is not from me. Let me keep my money in my pocket. So I never got into gambling. And I used to see the guys every now and then at tournaments. Everybody would throw, $20 on the green, who wins the hole and things like that. But I was like, nah, count me out. Like, I'm not that good. And, I don't have $1 million contract. So I'm not trying to play like I'm one of you guys like Randall or somebody throwing around money like that. I was like, nope.
Yeah, it's funny too because there's a couple different layers to that, right? Like Anthony and I just talked about this a week or two ago when we were out playing. I'm not afraid to gamble, and like I'm all for a little gambling. My golf game is so like delicate as it is, like it could go off the rails really easily. I don't need any other outside pressures or outside like things to think about. I'm like, if it's a game that we can just like play this putting game like that, if you three putt, passes to the next guy, like that can happen in the background while you're playing, fine. But like I'm not a big fan of like, hey, we're gonna, play head to head or play, whatever. Not a huge fan of that on the daily basis.
And every time you put money down, people get stupid.
Every time what?
Every time you put money down, people get stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing, right? Because you see too many videos out there now where it's like guys that are buddies and they're arguing over, a ruling or, whether, he needs to take a drop there or what. I'm trying to go out and have fun, play a good round of golf. I'm not trying to argue with my friends about, stupid shit.
Marcus, what do you enjoy about the game? Like when you get out and play, whether it's going to the driving range or a scramble event or just getting out, for a few holes or whatever. Like, what do you enjoy about the game?
Honestly, I still love that feeling because I know, I'm gonna get on one hole and I'm gonna crank one. I can hit 30 in the woods, but if I get that one shot, on that par 5 or that long par 4, right down the middle of the fairway, then the whole day was worth it. So, I still get that feeling. Even when I go to the range, it's to the point now where I'm playing mind games with myself and I'm like, okay, I got 10 balls and I'm looking down the range. I'm like, okay, I got to hit it directly over that blue van at 200 yards straight down the middle. So mentally I'm giving myself like, what's the fairway? So, I played golf long enough to know that I already know I can hit the ball long, but can I hit it straight? So I'm playing different games in my mind. It's like, I got to hit it between this right here and keep it in the fairway. So just stuff like that, man. And just getting in the rhythm, hitting like 8 good shots in a row. And then, you go back and get a sip of water. And then the next 5 shots all go to the left in the fence or something like that. So you still always striving to get better at it. And I guess that's the one thing from playing ball and coaching and all that kind of stuff. You always trying to find something where you have to get better. And golf, you guys already know. You'll have one good day with golf and 8 bad days. Then you'll have another good day, then 9 more bad days. But as long as you have that one day in there, you par that one hole and you hit that bird, it makes it all worth it. So you rinse and repeat.
You got to respect those golf gods too, right? Because the second you say I figured it out,
yeah,
restart.
Not today. Not today.
It's funny you mentioned like you kind of like set these kind of like parameters and like mini games for yourself when you're out at the range. We had talked about at one point this concept of a cone, right? So like where you're playing at any given point, and like when you're good enough, right, you can aim for a certain point, right? But when you're just out there, like someone like myself, you got to realize you may have a 35-yard margin of error to either side of that point. So don't aim for the actual point per se, but where do you have a 70-yard, width approximately, and like which side is the good miss on the left, is the good miss on the right, and like aim that cone for there. So that's the kind of game or like little drill I could see implementing at a range, that you can like transfer into like taking it to a course once you're out there. Maybe you start at 35 in either direction, and then like after a while you get down to 30 and 25, and like you're constantly decreasing the width of that cone.
I'm always looking at stuff like that, and I'm always thinking about that. We were talking before we started, like when I was just telling y'all I'm into graphics and animation and things of that nature. So literally in my head, think of, you remember in Terminator 2, when Arnold comes back and he walks into the bar, but you get that point of view from him, and you see all the analysis and stuff moves around.
He's assessing everybody.
Very similar to the Tony Stark view. That's what's going on in my head. Now, I don't know what everything says, but in my mind, I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm trying to, where's the best place I should hit it? Then I look down, and is my club face going in the right direction? All of that type of stuff, man. So because I'm a visual type dude, like that stuff is playing in my head. Like, all right, I got to hit it here. If I can hit it here, at this point in the air, I know it's going to draw a little bit. So maybe I should aim a little bit more to the right, or, different things like that, man. And then I'll go through all of that, and then I'll duff it like 50 yards to the left or something like that. So
it's funny. You talk about how this like is a visual for you. And as you're saying it, I'm visualizing it, right? And I'm picturing, like a shot dispersion chart, like, from when I got fitted for my clubs. Yeah. Like, you hit 10 shots, but like you're still seeing all of them, right? Like this one hit here and, carried another 30 yards. This one hit here and carried 15 more yards. And just like actually visualizing that in one little, I like that because
you know what I just discovered was the what's it called, TFL?
Oh, yeah, the TGL
the TGL.
Is it the TGL out at SoFi with Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Man, I was like, hold on. As much as into the games and the technology and stuff that I am, how come I'm just finding this? Like literally 2 weeks ago, I saw this, and I was like, where did this come from? The green changes, and it's a giant simulation. I was like, this is right down my alley. How come I am just now seeing this for the first time? So I watched the thing with Tiger and Rory and all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, I was magnetized. I was like, where has this been all my life? Like when I saw the green rotate and the elevation on the green was changing, I about lost my mind, dude. Because like that is the exact type of stuff that I love to see. I love to see the technology with the simulation, all of that type of stuff, man. That I would watch that stuff for hours.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on it with a couple buddies, and like talking about pros and cons and what are everyone's thoughts, and like on paper, it's right up my alley. I love it. But to your point, like you're just finding out about it. Like there's something missing in the marketing and the way that they're presenting it all. Yeah. I feel like they have something there, but like the presentation and the marketing, and there's something missing. I can't figure out what.
When I looked at it, it had the one particular video that I saw. This was the one with the Tiger. No, first one I saw, it was 2 teams. Tiger wasn't there. It was 2 teams. Because the one guy, I remember the one guy. What's the one good, the big Samoan dude? I think he's Hawaiian. He always wears the good hat.
Tony
He's a big
Finau?
dude.
Not Tony, is it?
Tony
Tony Finau?
Finau?
It might be. I don't know. I just know he looks like he's Polynesian, maybe Hawaiian, but he always wears good brand. Um, and he was on a team, and it was three other guys, and that's the first match that I watched, and I was like, this thing has got like 1.5 million views on it, so somebody must be watching. So immediately I, subscribed to the channel and I started watching it, man. I was like, I'm enthused of this. And of course, immediately I'm calling up the Dave and Buster's down the street. I'm like, do y'all have golf simulators in there? Like, dude, I was thinking about
when are you guys getting the moving greens?
bruh. I'm looking in the backyard. I'm like, damn, do I have enough room for a cage back there? Like, all the juices is flowing now, man. So it was fun to watch, man. And I still watching.
Yeah, it was pretty cool when we were watching it. The green is definitely, for me, the green is like the best part of it.
Yeah, that did it, man. That was next level, man.
Yeah,
They put some money into that.
they did, and it was supposed to come out a year ago, and there was a hurricane that knocked the stadium down. Like the stadium was
Oh
built out
yeah,
of like it didn't even look like it was like a full setup, and it was like a
It wasn't
pop-up
like a
tent.
permanent. It wasn't a permanent structure at the time.
Right, right.
right.
And they built the stadium first. The hurricane came through and knocked it down, so they got everything pushed back a year.
Wow.
Which apparently the technology was not ready for the greens, and it gave them extra time to like finalize all of that. Which
Yeah,
thank goodness, because that green is
that's next level,
incredible.
man. That is
That's the whole
beyond
element
cool,
right
dude.
there.
Yeah,
They need to do more with that factor. Like I love the sim. Don't get me wrong. It's huge, which
yeah,
is really cool. But that green just kind of sets it apart from everything else. And I guess the fact that they're playing. Oh, you know what else is cool is they're playing from grass.
yeah. They got that
Right?
little patch with the grass. They got real sand.
Real
They
sand,
got
and
real rough.
in front of the sand,
Yeah,
they have this um what do you want to call it? Like almost like a little like front lip that
yeah,
changes elevation based on the sand trap that they're in and how deep. So they
yeah.
have to get it above the lip and out of the sand that they're in.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It is crazy. The technology into that, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, and I'm usually good with stuff like that, and I'm like, how the hell did they do that? Like, the thing is rotating, and I'm looking at it. I was like, is something coming out of the grass? And I'm like, oh, that's the elevation change. So now I still think the greens, the way the greens roll, is a little fake, but I'm nitpicking. So
Sure.
I think it's fantastic, man. I love it.
If that's where they're
Probably something
starting
that
at, sorry, go ahead.
I was just say that's probably something that they fine tune over time too, right?
Yeah,
Where they can mimic the grain and stuff like that, a bit more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, if this is where they're starting at and they continue to pour money into it,
good
Yeah.
point.
hopefully they can,
Good point. You can't help but get better.
hopefully. So, so Marcus, where's your game at now? You had a little video queued up there. You showing your game off there in that video, or
Oh, dude, that was hold on. There we go. I don't even I think I may have been just talking. I don't even know if I think I was leaving and I was talking about the clubs. There we go.
oh, okay.
I think I
Little
just
top-
spliced all the can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I can hear it and I can see that power in that swing too.
Yeah. They don't always go straight though. So
If they
Yeah, but
always
you
did
shallow
draw,
out really
out there with
nice.
Scotty.
yeah, with my $5 flea market club. That's the club I
Great
broke.
swing.
That's the one I broke. It was a what was it called? It was a purple club. It was called Loco. I got a picture of it somewhere. But in any
Logos
case,
was the brand name.
yeah, it was Loco something. I'd have to find a picture of it, but it was I hit a shot and it on camera, I can hear myself saying, I could have swore I saw sparks. but I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe I caught something I thought I hit it off the neck of the club or something, right? So I hit a couple more shots and I'm catching the ball perfectly. And the ball was coming off like weird. I'm like, what the hell? And this sounds weird. And then I finally took a look at the club, and the top of the club had caved in. So you had the face of the club, and the top of the club had a cavity in it. And I was like, damn, I done broke the damn club. I was like, but you know what? That's why I bought it from the flea market. That's exactly why I bought it for that point. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, man, I just like to, of course, this is the coach and the player coming out in me. Every time I go to the range, got a tripod, got my phone hooked up, I'm recording it so I can see what I look like. I got the what's the app? It's called Golf Boy. Have you ever heard of that?
Golf boy?
It's called Golf Boy. It's an app on your phone. And what I do is you set your tripod up so your camera sees the ball, and the app can track your ball path. It's kind of rudimentary, but it works pretty good because there's a feature on there where it'll record the ball strike. So it'll give you freeze frames of the club face actually hitting the ball. It's pretty impressive for a $9 app from the iTunes store. So
yeah, so you can see if you're hitting it more off the toe or off the heel. You're striking it in the center. Yeah.
Let me see if it'll let me show.
Oh, this will definitely be on the phone after we're done.
Yeah.
I might be hitting this I might be using this in the garage tonight when we get done.
Fine. Oh, here's a good one. I don't know if you'll be able to see it though. So, let's see that?
Yep.
That's all it does. And then it simulates it'll try to tell you what if your ball went straight. It'll tell you once you set up the alignment, and then you set it to go, and then when you turn it off, it creates a file for you. And in that file, it'll show you how many balls you hit straight, how many of them went left, went right, what was the basic here's another one. So you see the white line, and then it tells you where the ball's left,
giving you
right,
dispersion pattern there.
Yeah, it's got all this data, all this coming from the phone. So, and of course, like the main thing is when it tracks your distance, your ball distance, that's a little bit iffy. Because I hit a couple of shots. I know I hit one shot, had to be at least 260, 270. And it told me it was like 225. So sometimes it misses, but sometimes it doesn't. But I like it just from the standpoint of it'll give me that freeze frame shot, and I can see how my club face is hitting the ball and stuff like that. So, and again, I'm into stuff like this, so I'll mess with it just to mess with it. You know, I'm at the driving range, and every time you hit the ball, it makes a tone. You hear the sound. You'll hear a little Siri voice tell you hit it 230 yards, stuff like that. So now everybody's looking around like, what was that? Who did you say that? So I got people looking at me and stuff. It's crazy, man. You can connect it with another iPad and use it as like a golf simulator. Dude, it's crazy, man.
And that's great. Like, especially when you can translate that data into like correctable actions, right?
Exactly.
And like things that you want to work on. Like I've said this, I don't even know how many times on this podcast. Like, I know I need to get out and practice, and I need to like, focus and hone in on a couple different things, but like I don't set the time aside to do it. I really need to do it.
Yeah, I was messing around and found it, and I was like, let me try it. 7-day free trial or whatever it was. And I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. And like I said, you know the ones where it messes up, but I don't use it every day. But when I do use it, it's good enough where I can get some good information from it. So to me, it's worth it.
So Marcus, we mentioned in the beginning, you're currently the host of Pro Fan Talk podcast, right?
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit about, what you do on that podcast, and I guess the type of content you cover and people you bring on?
Yeah. Pro Fan Talk, that started when I originally started, way back when I was doing like traditional podcasts, audio only, and all that kind of stuff. For me, it was I used to be a pro. Now I'm a fan. Let's talk about whatever. That's where it came from. I always kick myself because I started the podcast before the pandemic. But when I did it, I didn't want to do YouTube because at the time I was working at Apple. I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
So I remember I called Mike Quick, and I was like, Mike, I know you do your stuff with Merrill at the games. I was like, I'm about to start this podcast. Like, give me some advice. How should I go about it? Because I wasn't used to doing that. So he gave me some pointers, and I remember saying to him, I was like, I'm not going to do video stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't feel like editing. I ain't got time to do all of that. So I'm just going to do audio only, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, I think about it now. If I'd have started doing the YouTube thing 7 years ago, like I would have been a hell of a lot further. But that's where it started. It started with just doing talking about the Eagles and what was going on, and then slowly but surely that went into covering all the teams. Then it got into the Sixers and the Phillies. Then I got into the WNBA. Then I got into the NCAA women's. So now everything is streamlined. Basically now it's basically the Eagles, the WNBA, and the NCAA women's. I cover all women's basketball. I don't even cover the men's. I don't even do the NBA no more. So it's basically the Eagles and women's basketball. That's it. And I think I'm going to get into a little bit more. I just started Pro Fan Golf when I started doing this. So basically the same thing, but it's just going to be all me at the golf range. So, and that was it. That's how it started. So I've had Irvin Fryer's been on, Barrett Brooks has been on, Ken Dunnick has been on, Mark McMillan has been on. I'm still efforting to get Randall Cunningham. Hasn't happened yet. I was supposed to have Jeremiah Trotter on, but I called him to be on the podcast, and he told me he was in Puerto Rico working on his hotel. So different crazy stuff. I got crazy stories with stuff like that, man, where just I saw Trotter at the 2017 Super Bowl parade. We were all down at the art museum. So, of course, I'm like, yo, you got to come on my podcast, blah, 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 blah. He was like, yeah, you got my number. Call me. So I had been texting him. And then I said, we gonna connect like next Tuesday, whenever it was. So I call him on the phone, and I'm like, yo, Trot, this is Marcus. What's up? You ready? He was like, yeah, I can't do it right now. I was like, no problem. Do you want to, reschedule? He's like, I'm in Puerto Rico working on his hotel. I really can't get with you right now. I was like, no problem, dude. Sound like you're busy. So I get stuff like that all the time where people get busy. But for the most part, everybody's cool with it. A lot of the guys I saw at the alumni game got their information. I'm still trying to get Brent Selleck on here because he's another guy from Cincinnati. I'm trying to get – we were all together. I got pictures to prove it, and I got a video to prove it. Jason Kelsey. We took pictures together again. You went to UC. I'm from Cincinnati, so we kind of had that in common. And I asked him on camera, I was like, dude, I got to get you on my podcast. He was like, let's do it. I was like, all right, I got you on camera. He was like, for sure. But that's a pipe dream right now, man. He done got too big. So he might get a little bit out of reach for me.
You got big quick.
Bruh. But especially now with his brother and Taylor, yeah. I'm like, man, that's way out of my league now. So, but
you mentioned Brent Selleck. He just popped up in the news recently. So I don't know where you're located, Marcus, but so Anthony, I don't even know if you saw this. There's a shopping center in Chalfont.
Yeah.
And apparently Brent Selleck just bought the whole shopping center. So everyone's kind of like speculating now, like, what's he gonna do with that? Everyone's like, golf simulator.
Nice. Nice. I saw him a couple weeks ago. I saw him at the alumni game.
I'll put that in his ear then. Tell him that Chalfont shopping center needs to be a golf simulator.
He's probably thinking that. So
nice. So you said that you maybe I misheard you, but like, are you live streaming during the Eagles game? Like, what are you doing with that?
So, all right. So during the games, I'll just do live stream, and literally it's just me watching the game, and I'll just be giving my play by play, or a lot of times, obviously, because I was a running back, I'm focusing it on the running backs. What's going on? What protection are they in? Out bad block. Saquon, why'd you bounce it out? Why didn't you stick to the hole? Different things like that. I'm looking at it from my perspective, and I'm trying to get back into watching film like I used to watch film. But I've realized I've forgotten a lot of things. So sometimes I'll call up Barrett Brooks and like, Barrett, why are the offensive linemen doing this? Or so just I'm really trying to get back into the habit of really watching film the way I used to when I was playing, because I see so many guys in these media heads, and it is so clear that they don't watch film and they just talk. And clearly, it's like you got somebody that did a bunch of research and shoved a bunch of papers in front of your face. And you read numbers, but you have zero context of the game. Excuse me. And it used to piss me off. I was watching 2 years ago when Trey Lance was still in San Francisco. It was the last preseason game, and everybody knew that they were going to get rid of Trey Lance. But you know how ESPN will have that little 30-second stinger, and they'll rattle off a bunch of scores. They did that, and in that little 30 seconds, they mentioned that Trey Lance was having a horrible game. He's probably not going to be around for much longer. Like, they really ripped him. But if you watch the game, which I was watching the game, Trey Lance brought San Francisco back and won the game. But on that little stinger, you would have thought he was horrible. And I was like, these idiots are not even watching the game.
Yeah.
So that kind of fueled it. And I started streaming the games a little bit more. And then when I created my content, I would make sure I add some film footage. And I would, I got a little thing in OBS where I could, telestrate, draw on the screen the different. So I started looking at it from that standpoint, and I started getting a little bit more traction with that. So I just kept doing it.
Now, when you do that, Marcus, are you doing the normal like TV broadcast? Or are you looking at like an all personnel, like overhead view? Or
Yeah, I go to NFL.com, and they got the all pro like setup where you can find any game. You can like type in a particular player. It'll show you all of his plays, and then it gives you the sideline version. It gives you the end zone version. So basically, you get an all 22.
Nice.
And then you can just, you still got to be careful if you record it, because YouTube will still hit you with the copyright. So, but I think it's like, if the clip is small enough, and I know the rule is, the fair use rule is, as long as you do something with the video. So I'm always drawing graphics, and so it's always going back to the graphics. I'm putting stuff on screen and stuff like that. I'm just not playing it. And just getting into that, talking about, last couple of videos I've done is about the final 53, meeting making the cut day. I always have a thing about cut day, because I remember cut day still sucks for me, because I remember that feeling when I got cut, and I'm like, that is a horrible, awful feeling, and I never forgot that. So always on cut day, always when I stream, I always mention that, to all the guys that got cut, keep working, keep going to the gym, keep working out, keep doing your thing, because you never know when you're gonna get that call, and you got to move. So just from that standpoint of it, man, and just watching film, because now I realize, especially with social media, how many people talk about the game that have no earthly idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yep. So I would be one of those guys, right? As someone who never played organized football, but as you watch and dissect a game, do you see a whole lot of differences in like schemes and things? Like, how much of an evolution is there over time from like when you were playing to now? Like, are there some things that you see that you don't quite recognize, or is it all pretty much same fundamental?
I like to say same game, different stadium. The base stuff, excuse me, the base stuff is still classic. But the evolution has come from the players because you got somebody like Jahad Campbell or you got somebody like Saquon Barkley that's the size of a freaking linebacker that still runs a 4-3, or Derrick Henry that is a linebacker that runs a 4-4. Like, you just didn't see that. When I was at Eastern Kentucky, I graduated EKU in 93. So I always make the joke, I graduated before Windows 95 existed. The biggest guy on our team was this guy named Al J. Savicius. He was from Boston. He was 6'5", 305, and we thought he was the biggest thing in the world. 6'5", 305. Jordan Davis would make him look like a small person. And just when you see guys, Milt Williams, when you see Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and you see how big these guys are and how fast they are, how fast Jahad Campbell is ridiculous. And I played with Seth, and I played with Clyde and Willie T, and, you know, I played with Refrigerator Perry and Mark Bavaro, and we thought those guys were huge. Herschel Walker, Herschel was still a freak. Ain't too many people like Herschel.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying. It's like the size and the speed of these kids now is off the charts. And that's what's made the game evolve. The players. And Jahad Campbell is a 230-pound linebacker that can cover a wide receiver. He's that fast. And he's playing linebacker. Somebody's going to have a problem. And I'm glad he's on our team. And you got guys like that all the time. The stuff that Jalen Carter can do is just off the chain. Jordan Davis been able to move that fast, being 330-something pounds, unheard of. But you see more and more guys like that around the league. You see Jaron Verse, and, you know, even though he just retired, Aaron Donald, and you can go down the list, man. There's always somebody on. There's a couple guys on every team that they're freaks. If they would have played when I played, you've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah,
now it's everywhere.
There was a long period of time where it's like you had the dial turned all the way up on how big you are, or you had the dial turned all the way up on how athletic you are. And someone at some point broke the regulator. Now you can turn them all the way up on both. Yeah. And you got these guys that are performing like they're, 6 foot 200, 200 pounds, and they're actually 6'5", 350.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do with that?
What we thought when I played, what we thought was above average, like way off the charts, is now what we consider average. Like, you guys remember Jason Dunn? He played with the Eagles. He was a tight end with the Eagles for 4 years.
I remember the name. I'd be lying if I said I've never.
Sounds familiar, but yeah.
Jason Dunn, and then he played 4 years with the Eagles, and he played 8 years with Kansas City. We went to college together. I was a senior. He was a true freshman. He was Mr. Kentucky football.
He played in the 90s, right?
Yeah. He was 6 foot. He was 6'3". When he came to Eastern Kentucky, he was 6'3", 205. Fast as hell. He was Mr. Kentucky football. And then they moved him to defensive end. He played defensive end at EKU. And then after I graduated, like his junior and senior year, they moved him to tight end because he was so fast. And then that's how he made his money in the league. But Jason was a freak at the time. Now you see guys like him everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost the same size when he played. He was almost the same size as Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's in the backfield. That would scare the hell out of me. You know what I mean? So, like I said before, it's the size and the speed of these kids is otherworldly right now, and that's the average.
Yeah.
What's the difference maker? Like, what has changed? Is it everyone was basically relying on talent back then, and your people with more talent just excelled, and now like you have more people grinding and working out earlier in life, and when they're younger and getting into the game earlier? Like, what changed over time?
Honestly, I think all of the above, and then you add the fact that all of our food is GMO. Then you got technology, and we used to, when we were in camp, we had a we had a chiropractor that would come to practice every Thursday, and there would be a line outside of the dorm up in Westchester so we could see this chiropractor. Now these guys got oxygen chambers and infrared saunas, and cold tubbing is a thing now. Where before it was like that was just you stuck your ankle in there for treatment for about 20 minutes and you kept it moving. Now they got cold tub baths, they got cryo chambers, just the technology in fitness, the technology in food. The way I remember when what's the guy that passed away? What was his name? What was the guy that passed away? He was with the Ravens, I think. The big offensive lineman. He died of heat exhaustion.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, but after that, they were making the guys swallow pills, and they could manage your internal core temperature, and just the technology that you have that didn't exist back in the day is off the charts. Now you get, and we never thought it would happen. We still bitch about this because I call it new-a-days because they don't have two-a-days no more. But with how we used to bang and just we used to go at it, they don't do that no more. So they save the body and all that kind of stuff. And that's why the first 3 games of the regular season now is the preseason. That's why can't nobody tackle the first 3 weeks of the season. And they don't tackle in practice no more. So it's just the whole thing is geared towards saving the athletes' bodies so they can have longevity.
And it's funny, we can kind of almost correlate this back to what we were talking about the driving range, right? It's looking at years and years and years of data in all different aspects of the game, of physiology, of eating, of working out, right? Like of pre and post game treatment and recuperation. And we're finally able to take that data and translate it into different things. Like, how are we going to approach this? Like, what kind of technology can we implement to help in this area? And, I think it was that slow burn of like taking all the data that we realized that we had, and then, implement it in all these things that we see now. It's like, I would imagine if you were to take the schedule of an NFL player, right? Mm-hmm. From the 90s versus the schedule now, I would bet you it's so like broken out into like smaller segments now. And like, here's what you do 3 hours before, 2 hours and 45 minutes before, 2:30. Like, it's all these other steps and elements versus, let's show up and, gear up and get ready to get out there.
Yeah, think about it. It's a lot more mental because, easy example, when I was playing, if you wanted to watch a lot of tape, you had to go up to the archives and pull tapes out like you were at the library. And you had to have a Super VHS or a Super Betamax at your house to watch the tape. Now, all you got to do is just log into your iPad. Yep. And then you log into your team's network and you have access to every game so you can study and all of that type of stuff. It's right there at your fingertips. So the labor of actually having tapes and going through all of that minutia doesn't exist anymore. So you do have more time of somebody can be sitting in their oxygen chamber, watching film for getting ready for this week's game or something like that. So just the technology that exists now to make it easier and to make it more convenient for these athletes just didn't exist back in the day.
Yeah.
So was the player's name Corey Stringer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, and even with the fitness stuff, like there's guys now, I was talking to Irvin Fryer the other day. His son is a fitness trainer focusing on golf. Mm-hmm. You didn't see that back in the day. I got a buddy of mine that he owns a gym in Cherry Hill, and we're, football players and softball players, and most of his athletes are field hockey girls, right? But every now and then he has a couple golfers in there, and he tunes the workout. So he's carrying a bag, he's going through his swing mechanics, different things like that. So regardless of what sport you play, whether it's golf, whether it's friggin' pickleball, they've got fitness routines ready for you, so you can step your game up. And that's why you see these dudes in the long drive competitions going like 430, 450, and all that kind of stuff, man. Just stupid stuff. The technology is off the charts right now.
It really is. And you can even break it down further, right? So like for golf, the way that you train, someone who wants to, just be a good golfer versus someone who wants to be a long driver,
Right.
two totally different things.
Totally different.
In football, you're going to, you're going to work different muscles and groups for your linemen than you are for your, your receivers and things like that. Everyone's going to have their own kind of, special directed program. And it's that kind of like, extra time and honestly money, right? How much money is thrown at the game now versus,
but even that's changing, because think about it now. Like I just told you like about the app, right? And the things that AI can do.
Yeah.
Because Tony, to your point, this is just starting. This is my first time using it. So what is this app going to be able to do 3 years from now? So now they got stuff with AI. You can buy another app, because I've seen it, another golf app, where you record your swing and then AI will tell you what's wrong with your swing. It'll break down your swing and give you swing analysis. It'll track your pivot points on your elbow, your wrist, your knees. It tells you how much you're rotating, all of that type of stuff, all from an app from your phone. And it's like, if you can get that out of the palm of your hands, like, do you really need to go into, Golf Galaxy or whatever the situation is? Like, it's getting, the technology again is just getting easier and easier.
Yeah.
Marcus, do you live stream every game, every Eagles game?
Not every game. I try to do as many as I can, but honestly, sometimes I just want to sit back and just watch it the way I want to watch it. Sure. But I do find benefit when I'm streaming, because what it does is it makes me, because I know I'm live and I got to talk and I got to keep talking, but I also got to hyper focus on what I'm looking at the game, as opposed to watching the game. I'm focusing in on what's the guard doing. I found I did that a lot last year, because I found myself watching, obviously, Saquon, but I kept watching Mekhi Becton, because I was like, what is Stoutland going to do with this big 6'6" tackle that he moved to guard? How is this going to work? So I kept watching Mekhi Becton. So, and then I would see, when Dallas Goedert got hurt, now I'm watching Grant Calcaterra, and I'm like, okay, our tight ends really can't block that well. So this might be a problem. Like, how are we going to solve this thing? And then, of course, with the tush push and all of that type of stuff, I used to get mad when Jalen Hurts used to go straight up on the shove. And I'm like, no, dude, slide to your left. There's always a gap to your left, and we always exploit it. How come we're not doing that every time? So I'm like hyper focused on, when last year when Saquon was going for the record, I was pissed off that he came out in the Giants game. I was like, that was your record right there. You came out the game. And now, great by you being a great guy, but you missed on the chance to make history. You know what I mean? But after that, everybody was like, is he going to make it? Is he going to get it? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, y'all, you're looking at the wrong person. You're concentrating on the wrong person. He doesn't need to break Eric Dickerson's record. He needs to match Terrell Davis, the only other back to rush for 2,000 yards and win a Super Bowl. That's what he's chasing, and that's exactly what happened. And then I'm going back and I'm looking, man, if the Eagles would ever do zone reads like Denver used to do zone reads, and I'm like, you couldn't stop it. Denver had that offensive line with Mark Schlereth and all them dudes, and I used to me, that's poetry in motion as a running back. Get him the ball as deep as possible. There is no hole. That's the beauty of zone reads. There's no hole. You're just going this way. Elway gets him the ball as deep as possible, so he's got literally 5 to 6 yards to figure out which way he wants to go. So you can't really dissect that on film, because you never know where he's going to go. It's all on what the offensive line gives him. He can cut it back. He can hit it straight up. He can bounce it outside. That's the beauty of his zone read. So I was like, why aren't the Eagles doing that? What made me mad about last season was the fact that Saquon got 2,000 yards, and I was like, with that offensive line, Miles Sanders should have led the league in rushing. And DeAndre Swift, they should have used him way more than they actually did.
Yeah.
Because he was a much better runner than they gave him credit for. And we didn't even use him in the screen game. So I'm looking at it from standpoints like that. I got a rule. If we win, you're nitpicking. If we lose, then you're complaining. So most of last year, I was just nitpicking. So I'm like, yes, I wish we would run the ball more outside. What am I going to do? He just ran for 2,000 yards. I'm going to shut my mouth. You know what I mean? But you still look at the game and you can pick different things. And like, man, we can still be better at that. I think can he get 2,000 again? Probably he can, but he probably won't because now he's the game plan.
Yeah.
You're playing the Eagles. The game plan is to stop Saquon and let Jalen Hurts beat you in the air. But ask Spagnuolo how that worked for him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So with the 53-man out now, what do you see? I'm not going to ask you for a prediction, but like, how do you see the season going for the Eagles, and how do you think they overcome that Super Bowl hangover that everybody always talks about?
I don't think they have the hangover anymore. I think the hangover was over once they got their rings.
Especially with this team, they seem just really locked in. Like from Jay, like it's from the top, right? So
they did. Jalen Hurts and Sirianni, they made it evidently clear, publicly clear, that we got the rings now. Shut it down. Put them in the box. Put it on the mantle. It's time to get back to work. That's the one thing about Jalen. That's the one thing about Nick Sirianni. Because I was even one of the ones where, I was I had the arched eyebrow when he gave the plant and flower speech when he first got hired. But funny thing, one of the guys I played with when I was in the World League, when we was in Scotland, Jim Ballard. He was a quarterback, played for the Buffalo Bills for a couple years. He was my quarterback when we won the World Bowl in '96. He went to Mount Union. He knows Nick Sirianni. He knows the Sirianni family because he played at Mount Union. He coached Nick Sirianni in college. And I had him on my podcast after we hired Nick. And he said, trust me. He said, trust me. And I know it doesn't seem like it. He said, don't get caught up in the speech. He said, trust me. This dude comes from a winning program. He's from a winning family. He knows how to win. He was like, trust me on this. And I had him on again. I was like, you were right. He said, I told you.
It's funny too. And I'd be interested to get your perspective from like inside a locker room, right? But from a fan's perspective, we've talked about this with both the Phillies and the Eagles over the past, couple years. You can tell the teams that are going to perform well because you look at them and they're out there having fun, right? They're having fun playing together. The attitude even after a loss is one of like, we know what we have to do. And then you see like, a couple years later, you might see another version of the team and you can tell they're not out there having fun, right? And like, those are the teams that wind up not making it as far. Like, how does that kind of culture in the locker room, how does it grow? And is it as much of an impact as it looks like from the outside point of view? Like where they're having fun, they're gonna be built for success.
Yes and no. It's not fun because we understand that it's work.
Right.
But what happens is when everything is working, everything is clicking. What people will perceive as fun, it's more of just being relaxed because everything is working. I know that the dude next to me is going to be able to handle his business so I can do what I need to do. As a running back, I was always taught, never look at the ball. You make your pocket, you're looking at where you're supposed to go. You're following that pulling guard. You're never looking for the ball. When a running back looks at the ball, he reaches for it. That's when the fumbles happen. So it ends up being a level of trust. It's the same thing. It's almost like you get to the point where everything is unspoken. I know he's going to do what he's supposed to do. I know Jason Kelsey. I know Cam Jurgens is going to get that block. I know Landon Dickerson, even though we just moved him from left guard to center, because I know he's going to be able to handle it. And you have faith in everybody around you, and you don't worry about it. The worst thing you can do when you're on the field is have to think. If you have to think, you're already too slow. But when you know it, when you rep it, everything just flows and everything is working. If you blow a coverage, you know somebody's going to come over the top and cover your mistake. So it gets more to a point where everybody is comfortable with everybody else because you are going to make mistakes, but you got confidence that the dude behind you might cover your ass a couple times and nobody will ever be the wiser. And when things like that, I like to call it like with Jalen Hurts, Jalen and Sirianni have a gift that they can get everybody pointing in the same direction. At the pro level, that is supremely difficult, especially when you're a quarterback. Doesn't matter how good you are. I did a post last season, of course, with all of the Jalen Hurts hate and all of that type of stuff. And what I did was all of the quarterbacks that weren't in the playoffs, I added up all of their passing yards. 45,000 passing yards at home on the couch watching the playoffs. Don't tell me that he's got to be able to throw for this, or he got to have 4,500 yards, or he's got to be 6'3", or doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters what happens in those big games because Lamar couldn't do it. He's a 2-time, but he should be a 3-time MVP. Josh Allen couldn't do it. Joey Burrow couldn't do it. Patrick Mahomes, he did it until he tried to three-peat and they put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
You know, it makes people do silly things.
It's like you said with thinking too, right? That's a more macro level of thinking, right? Like, don't go out there and think about what you have to do. You're reading the game, you're playing, you're doing what the situation calls for, not what some analyst in New York thinks that you need to do because you only have X number of yards and you need to get so much more.
Exactly. And then of course with social media, that just adds to it.
Yeah.
You look at those guys with the Chiefs. You look at Spagnuolo. You look at all of those guys. They are the best in the business. And you mean to tell me for 4 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, y'all never bothered to look at Caliendo playing left guard and how bad he was? And our defense, Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, you never thought that was going to be for a problem? And you just automatically assumed that your quarterback was going to make everything all right. Your quarterback doesn't block. But they still got caught up in that wave. Patrick Mahomes is going to make everything all right. How many times did the media heads say that? And I'm like, y'all say y'all watch film. Have you not seen Joe Tooney? It is going to be a Hall of Fame at right tackle. When they moved him to left tackle, problem.
Yep.
But nobody wanted to say it. Everybody wanted to go into jump on and get the clicks with social media. We're going to repeat. They're already making a documentary, all of that type of stuff. And I was like, what did they teach y'all? You never play the game first. You got to get on the field first.
Yep.
So they made the ultimate mistake.
You play the game first. Who's going to tell you that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are going to lose to Nick Foles and Doug Peterson?
And he threw for 500 yards.
Yeah.
Who?
And that's where I love, so Jalen checks the ego at the door.
At
right?
the door.
So while it's so hard to watch all of the hate, in a sense, I kind of love it because I don't know how you come back fresh off of, a great run of consecutive years, right? Super Bowl win, and still come into a season being an underdog. Give it to me. Give it to me every year. Tell me 50 times how the Eagles have no shot at, putting up another good season like that. Keep doing it. I love
Keep doing it. Keep being an underdog. Keep doing it. Keep talking. I figured out that, every time somebody comes out with a list, you got to zoom in. You got to zoom in real far, and there's like a real itty bitty asterisk. And when you rank the quarterbacks, that asterisk says must be 6'5", must throw for 4,500 yards. Winning is not a stat.
Yeah.
All of that type of stuff that they talk about, man. And it's like they keep moving the goalposts, but y'all keep moving them. And I can't hear the noise from the me shining the Super Bowl ring. It creates an audible feel that I can't hear anything for. So I just ignore it, man.
It's pretty sweet. So like I said, keep the hate coming, keep the doubt coming. I like it
For sure.
Marcus, where can everybody find your podcast and find um, your streaming videos, and where can I find you at?
Yeah, everything is here on Pro Fan Talk. Right on YouTube. I am getting into the TikTok space. I just like last week surpassed 1,000 followers on TikTok. I don't even know what to do with that yet. But for right now, everything is on YouTube. Just look up Pro Fan Talk. You'll find me. I'm streaming the games. I try to go live. I'm trying to do every night at 10:30. And the reason I go at 10:30 is because I got a lot of followers on the West Coast. So I'm trying to, I don't want it to be like 4 o'clock in California or something like that. So I figured 10:30 was a good time. But I'm trying to stream every night. And then when the football season starts, I'm going to try to do some of the games. I'm not going to be able to do all of them. But usually if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on Twitter or on YouTube, you'll get a post. That's why we always tell you to click on the like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when everything's coming to town. But Pro Fan Talk on YouTube, that's where you can find it.
Very nice. We'll definitely be checking it out, and maybe we'll have to pick your brain again sometime, during the middle of the season, see how things are going.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. When I go live, I put the live link in the chat. So if somebody randomly wants to come on and got something to say, I'm all for it. So you can come on the mic, say what you give your hot take, give your opinion. And I always try to tell people, if you don't want to be on camera, just turn your camera off. We can still hear you. So I'm trying to get more into, you guys have been doing this long enough. I don't want to talk to myself for an hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? I need to talk to somebody. This should be a conversation, not a monologue. So I'm always inviting people on. So if you ever tune in, jump in the chat, jump on with you, man.
I love that. We'll have to come in and say hi. You know what? As a matter of fact, maybe I'll just start watching through your feed, because Anthony and I have this problem where, like, if he's at his house watching a game, whether Eagles or Phillies, or I'm at my house, I don't know what it is about my cable. I'm a solid 30 to 45 seconds behind him. Yeah. He'll call me up like, "You see that?" And I'm like, "See what?" And I'm like,
"Yeah." Oh, that's a bandwidth thing. I have the same issue, because what'll happen is, because you can't show the actual game on stream, right? So I got it set up so I got the scoreboards and the stats and stuff like that. But my TV is right here. So I'm looking at the ESPN scoreboard and it's telling me it's 4:45 left in the first quarter. The TV says it's like 5 minutes. So it might be like a 30 to 45 second difference. And sometimes you can spoil it, or some people in the chat will say something happened and I haven't seen it yet. So it's not that's just the way the technology works. Sometimes you're on the plus and sometimes you're on the minus.
Right.
Tony, Marcus, you got some cool posters back there, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Shout out to Sometimes Draws, who hooked us up with this one right here.
That's dope. I'm looking at the one with what is that? Marion Golf Course?
Marion. Yeah. From the US Open.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I got to get my pictures from when I was in Scotland. I had a chance to play the Royal and Ancient.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that was a blast. That's a public course, man. You can just drive up there. It is breathtaking. The beach right by the course is where they shot that movie Chariots of Fire. So,
really?
Yeah, it's on like a peninsula. And at the very, very head of St. Andrews is this super old graveyard. First time I've ever been in a graveyard where the gravestones only had 3 numbers. And I was like, this is like 832, and it was real beautiful. Over there, they take care of their stuff, and you can just walk in, play the Royal Ancient. I got a picture on the bridge. I know I had a picture in one of them big ass 6-foot bunkers. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. You can putt from like 40 yards off. The only thing I didn't like about it, though, I shouldn't say didn't like, I just wasn't used to, I'd never played on like a links course before,
Okay.
and literally a couple of times we're like, okay, which hole are we shooting? Because it's like 3 greens on one piece of grass, and you don't know where you're supposed to go. But it was beautiful. Loved it. Scotland was great, man, and that was right when I just really started playing golf, so that made it even better.
Oh, that'll keep you coming back.
Oh heck yeah, man! We had a blast over there, dude.
So you're still in the area, right?
Yeah, I'm in South Jersey.
Oh, okay. We gotta hook up. We gotta play
For sure,
around.
man.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Look forward to that.
So,
Awesome.
so listen, Marcus. So, last question we always ask, when we have people on. I think Anthony might have given you a heads up or a teed you up on it. But we're trying to put together this list of albums to listen to on the golf course. So we ask everybody, give us one album you can listen to front to back, any genre, without skips. Every song on it is just.
Oh my god, dude!
I know it's tough. And so we have such an eclectic taste in music too. Like we literally love music in every different genre.
Wow.
So even for ourselves to pick, it's tough.
Wow, you could go rock, you could go rap, you could go.
We have it all in there.
I'm a classic hip hop guy.
Like we have deep rap cuts, we have deep heavy metal, we have country, we got folk music, we have.
That's a good question.
Even a Broadway show.
We have everything from. That sounds like a radio station now, but 80s, 90s, and today. But
that you would want to listen on the course.
So that's not how.
Something that's vibey, I guess, right? Like something that you could really get into to get you going.
It would have to be. Hold on, let me make sure this is the right one.
No worries.
Hold on. You're gonna make me go down the rabbit hole now.
When we're done, I'll send you the playlist too, so you can check it out.
Hold on, let me see. I was gonna say Earth, Wind, and Fire, but I'm not sure what the album is. Earth, Wind, and Fire, whatever the album is with Reasons and Serpentine Fire, and
we could do greatest hits too.
Let's groove tonight. You can probably go Earth, Wind, and Fire's greatest hits. You could probably do AC/DC's greatest hits. I could go old school on you and go like Billy Squier or REO Speedwagon, Asia.
Earth, Wind, and Fire is great. Like
Earth, Wind, and Fire's greatest
block
hits,
party, wedding music, and just
you can't
everybody going.
That's what, you know what's one that I love to listen to. It is the soundtrack to Conan the Barbarian.
So I know the movie. I couldn't begin to tell you what kind of music was in there though.
It's all instrumental, but it's heavy with the bass drums, heavy with the bells.
Okay. Like a John Williams type, Star Wars Jurassic Park.
If you watch Conan, the beginning when they're making the sword and the drums come dun 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 dun. We used to play that in the dorm all the time, and we used to play it in the weight room when we were lifting. So
I like that.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Soundtrack to Conan and Earth, Wind, and Fire's greatest hits.
Good deal. I might have to roll up to the course next time I play with the Conan.
With little Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Love it.
There you go, man. Interest music. Speaking of, you said you're a Phillies fan, man. How about Durantula's entrance, bro?
Fire.
Is that crazy?
If that doesn't fire somebody up, I'm not really sure what.
That is incredible, man.
I can't wait to see that in October. I'm just hoping that we have a good setting for it. Wheeler getting hurt scares me a bit, but
yeah, agreed. But I think we'll be fine. I just remember all the people that was talking shit on the Phillies early in the year.
Yeah,
it's like, relax, man. We ain't even at 40 games yet. Y'all crashed.
There was a lot of people predicting to be third in the NL East.
Like, dude, just stop. Let them play. Let the weather get warm first before you start bashing them, man.
Ugh, they got some work to do again tonight. I'm just looking. They're down 5-2 in the bottom of the sixth.
Yeah, just make it to the playoffs. Just make it to the playoffs. They're gonna get there. They'll be fine.
Any type of predictions that these fans do prior to the All-Star game means nothing.
Right.
No.
You can they can play like absolute trash for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
After the real season starts after the All-Star break.
It's who's getting hot, who's healthy.
Yep. At the right time. Who's getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, and most of the time it's who's got the hot bat because
Yep.
I mean, when we lost to Houston, we should have, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but Houston was hot, man. They bats were ridiculous.
Yeah, and actually, that same year that we lost to Houston, we were cold coming into the playoffs
Yeah.
against St. Louis.
Yep.
We got hot that like seventh or eighth inning.
You
Our
got to get
bats
hot at the
just
right
took
time.
off, and we didn't stop.
Yeah.
But
I think we'll be
stopped.
fine. We just once we get there, whether you got to crawl there or whatever you got to do, just get to the playoffs. Then everybody's slate is wiped clean. Whatever you did in the regular season don't matter no more.
Don't matter. Whole new year at that point.
Go Birds, go Phil.
Yes, sir. Ring that bell.
Well,
all right, Marcus.
Thanks again.
Thank
for
you
coming
again.
on. Really appreciate
I appreciate it, man. Call on me anytime, bro. I appreciate it.
We'll do.
do.
We'll be jumping into to the feed, so keep an eye out.
I appreciate that, man. Tell your friends about me.
We'll do, bro.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Have
All
a
right,
good
take
one.
care, man.
See you.